to have everybody here. And it's just a chance that we can all rest in being, you know, because that is the key to the whole thing. If we rest in being, there's no I. There's no I there. There's no identity. There's no stickiness. So, you know, when we do the guided into being, obviously we don't ever leave being, but we just have that pull to dance, that invitation to separation, but we never become separate. So there's not two positions. It does feel there is an experience of I've got it, I've lost it. That, oh, hang on a minute, I need to get back to being, but we actually never leave being. That's our true nature. And it just is able to, it's just able to experience separation. It's just, it's just pure potential to create an experience. So, you know, through patterned experience, that's why we've got these invitations that feel very personal, because we've had some experiences. We've been invited into the game, you know, as a young child, and these experiences have formed a pattern that we now believe is an I, is the one that experiences. But there is just experiencing. It's just this raw. There's no middleman. There's no middleman. There's no experiencer. There's no true nature and an experiencer. There's just experiencing. Raw. Immediate. This pure potential can limit itself, and it's as if it veils, like just like the clouds coming across. It veils this experience, and we have an experience of separation, but we never actually become that experience of separation. Just like the sun is veiled by the clouds, but you know, we are that. We are the sun. You know, our true nature is just always shining bright. There's an experience of it being lost, but it's always there. We can't not be it. When we turn our attention to being, you know, recognize, oh, but this is all, when we actually look, it's always there. Being, it's always there. So the more we check it out, the more we notice actually what's here. Even if there's been an experience of separation, we can just check in, okay, what's actually here, when we don't pick up that. When we look at our direct experience without the filters, what's actually here. The more we pay attention to that, the more we just rest in being, the more we can see that, oh, there's a choice, because there's no I when we're just being. There's a chance to see this mechanism, this way that we get invited into separation. There is enough, this being, this ocean of being, this pure potential to create is seen. And we can just remain here. We can just abide here. We never leave it, but we don't have to limit it. So whenever there's a push and pull, a contraction, experience of separation, it's like a warning. Oh, just go back to being. Not that we ever leave it. It's just a term of phrase. We drop the idea of separation. We drop this I. Let's really look at this I, because it doesn't exist. You know, we don't want to give too much front page news, because it doesn't actually exist. It's just an experience we're having. It's just how this ocean of being can dance. Formlessness appearing as form. So it never actually exists. It's just an experience. So there is no I. Doesn't actually exist. There is only one position. There is only one player here. playing all of the roles, all of the experiences. Yes, there's not a true self and a false self. It's just the self limiting, can have an experience of limitation. There's actually no separation. So we can just take a few moments, if we haven't already, recognized our true nature, this space of being. It's always here. It's always shining bright. There's only an experience of it being veiled, but it can't be veiled. You can't leave it. So it's just to open our focus, not to be narrowed down, to have an experience of separation, just to have a little look what's here. Experience being through these vehicles. So it's not like we have to do anything to be. It's actually effortless when we look. It actually takes effort to create this identity, to play this role. So we're just opening the focus. We're just letting go of any idea of doing. There's nothing to get here. There's no performance. There's just resting in being. And it takes no effort to be. It's just always there. So we could just drop down, down, down into our grounded being. Just using these vehicles as a experiencing mode so we can recognize this grounded being that's always there, this open, formless awareness. And we're going to have a little look at that. Because it's the mental realm that creates these fixed ideas of what's here. But actually, it's the direct experience that reveals what's actually here when we peel away those layers. So there's an open focus, and there's dropping down to this ground of being. And there's an awareness of the contact points of the body in the chair and the feet on the ground. We can feel into those contact points. There's a way of experiencing into this ocean of being. What's actually here. So there's the contact points, the body in the chair and the feet in the ground. We peel away those labels. There is just sensations in awareness. We feel into those sensations. That's that direct experience. We're not referencing a mind here. We've left that behind. We're playing unlimited. We're peeling back all the concepts and ideas to have a look at what's actually here in the direct experience. There's just sensations in this awareness, this alert, awake, ever-present being. And there's some sort of idea of this vehicle, so we can feel into this idea of an inside the vehicle, this body, and an outside. But actually, in our direct experience, can we find an inside and an outside? Can we find where they meet? So we're not referencing the mind. We're not talking about clothes and skin. We're just opening, dropping down, and feeling into what's here. Is there actually a point where the inside and the outside of this idea of a body meet? Or is there just space? We can feel out here, we can sort of scan out or expand out and have a little look. Do we end at the walls? Do we just keep feeling out, keep expanding, keep feeling out into this ocean of being, is unbound, unlimited, pure potential to create just this intelligent, alive, pure potential that's completely effortless. You know, this is all we've ever been, all the way through the experience of a life, these milestones of 5, 10, 21. There was something that never changed. It's all we've ever been. It's just that this can experience, because it's just pure potential to dance, to create. There's like a, there's a, just like a flower opening or a seed bursting out of its shell. It's just pure potential. And we can feel into this. It's like a folding in on what's here. Just this, just being with what's here. You know, it's a very subtle, intimate folding in on what's here. As you fold in and you feel into that, there's no words to describe it, but there's just that pure potential to burst forward. It's just that tipping point, that edge of creation. So the emptiness can create. So we're just on that edge of experience. But there's no experiencer here. You know, if you fold in, there's no I in being. Everything just arises in this ocean of being, this neutral space of being. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions, sounds, sensations are arising in this ocean of being effortlessly. There's no I here doing it. There's just pure potential to experience. But we get to choose. So these thoughts appear personalized because there's been this pattern of experience. There's no I here. We have to create an identity to take ownership of these invitations. We have to personalize them, just like the sounds. They're just as neutral as sounds and sensations. They're just thought forms that we don't have to pick up. So it's to remain in this effortless state. And the body is a brilliant tool for us because we get to recognize when we're limiting, when we're having a limited experience, there'll be a contraction or a push and pull or an emotion, you know, a wave of a stronger vibration, emotion, energy and motion that we've labeled all these different emotions. we've given them labels. And then there's a story created around that. That's how we create. So these are just potentials to experience, to create a story around. But we actually have a choice. It's not seen once we've picked up the story, once we've picked up this I, and we're playing the role. We get immersed in the role. And it's as if the thoughts veil this true nature. We feel like we've lost it. We're having an experience of separation. We feel vulnerable, and there's it's driven, the intelligence is driven by fear. So we're separate and we need security. And I need people to love me because I don't feel loved. I feel separate and vulnerable. And I don't feel whole. It's just that experience of separation. But we never actually become separate. So there's not two positions. There is only your true nature experiencing separation, having an experience, but no actual experiencer. So it's as if we walk home. We never left, but the experience is that of walking home to this. Unbound. There's no fixed position. It's just pure potential to dance. And we're the space in which everything dances. And if ever there's a push and pull, a contraction, we can recognize that there's an experience. But actually what we are is effortless being, is this space of no actual thing, no concrete thing, no set thing. It's not a thing we can grasp and say we've got. It's just what we are. It's formless. Yet it can appear as form. And we get to play, and we just get to play. We get to dance. We get to be the space for others to dance. And we get to dance. But it's actually a game of separation. We never ever were untouched by the dance. We never ever leave. It's just an experience of leaving. It's to be more interested in this intimate, quiet space of being than the ever-changing. The more we attend to the self, to this unbound, space of being, the easier it is to see the dance. The thought forms, the invitations, the contractions. It's not bad if we pick up the separation. It's not seen as bad. It's just an experience. But through repeated experience and attention, being limited, being narrowed. It's as if we're cut off from being. You've always got the chance to look what's actually here. And then we get to follow our joy from here. How do we want to create? What do we want to experience? You know, when we're not confined to the ideas of how life is supposed to be. We're not limiting ourselves. Is it a life of ease and joy? You know, just dropping the push and pull is joy, is peace, is everything that separate self is looking for. Because that experience of limitation is one of feeling lost and separate. It's just to remember we never leave and we're never separate. But there aren't two positions, there's just this one. So I invite you to rest in being, to be more interested in the pure potential to create from being, to see what wants to dance from here, unlimited, rather than the habit to limit this. Can be invitations. Who are the invitations coming to? Who are they actually being delivered to? Can we find that one? Can we find the one that's suffering these invitations to dance in our direct experience right now? Where are they? You know, this is when the game's up. When we can't find an I, a me, a mine. We can't find a mind. We can't find the one being invited into separation. Because there isn't an I. There isn't an identity. It's just your true nature. That's what self-realization is. Recognizing what's already here. That's why everybody says you can't lose it. You are it. Because it's just this. So normal, so natural. It's just been this dancing all along. So you never lose it. It's just to realize that there's not two positions. There is no I. So it's the identification with that experience. It's your true nature limiting itself and experiencing there is no actual I. We can't be frustrated with it. You know, when it says there'll be an experience of frustration when it's like, oh, picked up the I, but that's the I saying that. Because who picked up the I? Who took the invitation? Whose history? His story? Whose story is it? It's just your true nature. Having an experience of limitation. Whose history is that? Is there any history right now when we don't use the mind to create it? Is there a future right now when we don't use the mind to create it? Or is there just this crystal clear moment? Just that edge of pure potential to create. But it's like the blank screen, untouched by whatever's experienced. Yet it can have a full-on experience. It's never ever touched. It's just to see we have a choice to remain in being. And I'm just inviting you to be more interested in this already whole, complete. Space of being that we've always been. Unbound and unlimited. There's no opposition. There's all those seemingly others out there, all this dancing. So there's actually no opposition. It's just this. Always just this.